Hello, my name's Kevin Skilton and I'm the Associate Operations Manager in the Cancer Directorate. This is a welcome video really to your induction into the Directorate. I've got a few slides I'm going to go through with you and talk about how the Directorate works and how things are set up here. It should be around half an hour, but we'll send you the slide deck afterwards because it contains lots of links that you'll find useful as you start your journey with us here in the Cancer Directorate. By now, hopefully you would have had your local induction and know a bit more about where you're working and the specialty you're working within or the area within the Directorate. And also, if you're new to the Trust, you should have had your Trust induction as well. So this video is to add to all of that really and tell you about how things are set up within the Directorate. So on that note, what is the Cancer Directorate? So hopefully these structure charts will help you and they're available on Connect, and I'll talk through more about our Connect pages in a second. But basically as a trust, we are the Cambridge University Hospitals NHS Foundation Trust, and underneath that is Addenbrooke's Hospital. The hospital is split into separate divisions and we sit within Division B. And within the division, there are separate directorates such as pathology, imaging, therapies, and the Cancer Directorate. The Cancer Directorate is then made up of specialties and services such as the Department of Oncology, the Department of Haematology, Department of Urology, the Cambridge Breast Unit, excluding breast screening, gynae-oncology, and then some support services such as the Cancer Performance Team, and then the Directorate support services around quality and governance, data, and the support service and the CPPG. And I'll talk more about those again later. So that's kind of a structure as to how we sit. So we're under Division B, but we've got the Cancer Directorate, which is what I'm going to talk you through, and then the specialties where you are working underneath that. As a Cancer Directorate, we run as a senior team, the Cancer Directorate senior team, which is made up of a clinical lead for Cancer Directorate, the lead cancer nurse, an operations manager, and then myself and another associate operations manager. So as a senior team, we oversee the processes and authorizations for various things that happen within the Cancer Directorate and the specialties underneath it. So vacancy authorization, which is often referred to as VA, which is when a post requires replacement, that comes through the senior team for approval. Business cases to do something new or to develop something, that will come through the senior team for approval once it's been reviewed and approved by the specialties that sit underneath us. So you can find out more about the team and about the structures within our Cancer Directorate pages on Connect. So there are various buttons on there. There's 6 key buttons that will help you navigate your way through the Cancer Directorate on Connect and find out more about it and how it works. They include about the Cancer Directorate, the specialties and services that sit in it, the non-clinical specialties and services, the Cancer Directorate Communications Hub, bit of information about working in the Cancer Directorate, and some quick links. So to find those pages, if you go to Connect, which I'll just call up itself here, you will come to the home page of normal Connect. If you type in to the search content, Cancer Directorate, and search, it will find the Cancer Directorate links, for example. So there it links to about the Cancer Directorate and working in the Cancer Directorate. So that's one way to find those pages. However, what you can do is customize your quick links on the right hand side here. And to do that, you just need to be logged in with your nhs.net account at the top of the page. Once you're logged in, as you can see, I am there, this page then becomes customizable. So if you can click customize there, you can then remove some of those links. You can add links to it by typing in the URL codes and a name for it. There is another way to add a link to the quick links page, and that is when you're on a page within Connect, there's a heart button at the top which says add as a quick link. If you click on that, it will add it to your quick links. So that's just a useful tip on how to get that onto your front page of Connect so that it's easy to navigate to, because there is some useful information on here that I think you will want to use as you start your journey with us. If I just click on one of the pages within there is called the Cancer Directorate Policies and Processes, which goes through things such as approval processes, how to order IT equipment within the Directorate where you need pre-approval before you put it on the IT portal, things like our business continuity plans, employee life cycles, so how you make a vacancy authorization request if you're a manager, governance processes for dealing with risks and incidents, health and safety, how you book and the rules around your leave within the Cancer Directorate, and some structures around organisational structures, meetings, who sits in what roles and who does what within the directorates and the teams that sit there. If we just go back to Connect again, if we go to About the Cancer Directorate and click on Cancer Directorate Policies and Processes, you will see the expand bars allow you to open those out. And here you can see more about the approval processes, and the links are there contained in 2 other pages and other sites relating to that particular topic, which would be useful. As I say, for leave, we have a dedicated leave policy within the Cancer Directorate, and you can read that, and I would encourage you to do so from this link here. We also have a Directorate communications page, so whilst there may be comms coming from your specialty or departmental teams that you're working in, we also have some Directorate comms. We have a Directorate newsletter that comes out every quarter, which is just general information about what's going on across the Directorate, celebrating successes, people's stories about people who work in the Directorate. We have a Directorate Cancer Support Service newsletter that comes out from the Cancer Support Service, and I'll talk more about what they do later on. And we've also got a quarterly governance newsletter that comes out that looks at our incidents, our risks, our patient experience, and how we're performing, how we can do better, what we've learned from things that have happened. So that they all get sent out quarterly on a rolling month basis. And we also do a quarterly all-staff briefing, and you should receive the invite from that, and it will also be in the weekly update that is sent out every Wednesday afternoon, which keeps you up to date with what's going on across the Directorate and any news that needs to reach you within the week that's just happened, rather than waiting for a quarterly newsletter. The all-staff briefing, it happens quarterly. We appreciate not everybody can get there because it's on a day of the week where you may not work, or you might work nights, or you're just not around. So we record it and we put it on our communications hub page where you can then access it at any time you want and watch it back on and flick through for bits that you might find interesting or want to specifically watch or watch again. So that is on our comms page, and again you can find that by going back to our main Cancer Directorate pages on Connect, and then clicking on the Cancer Directorate Communications Hub, and that is all there for you to then access. Just flicking back though, if there's anything that you want us to include in our Directorate newsletter or something you'd like to put into the briefing, please do email us. We always want people's suggestions. We always want to hear what's going on. We want to celebrate people's successes, no matter how big or how small. If it's getting married, having a baby, anything like that, we want to celebrate that news with you. So please do let us know what's happening in your areas. You can email the Cancer Directorate senior team on the email address. As I say, we'll circulate these slides so you can pick that up from there, or from Connect. But please do email us and let us know. If you don't tell us, we don't know, we can't include it. So do keep us in the loop. So a bit about the specialties that sit within the Cancer Directorate. As I just said, there's the Department of Oncology, so that includes radiotherapy, and radiotherapy also works with medical physics, although they do sit outside of the Directorate in terms of medical physics. The Department of Haematology, which includes malignant and non-malignant treatments, so they also treat haemophilia patients, and we also have the BMT pathways, the CAR-T treatments, and that also includes the department which is the Cambridge Cellular Therapy Laboratory, the CCTL, that sits within haematology. Urology, once again, is treating benign and malignant conditions. So whilst I talk a lot about cancer and cancer things that are there to support our patients, this video is very much about how we work as a specialty. That includes both our cancer and non-cancer patients that we see. We've also got gynae oncology and breast oncology in the directorate as well. So they're our main specialties, and the likelihood is you sit within one of those specialties or a department within one of those specialties. And again, you can find out more about the specialties from Connect and more about where they are in the trust, because everybody's spread about in different places on Connect. So in terms of how the specialties work, they sit under the Cancer Directorate and the Cancer Directorate Senior Team. And again, the specialties have a lead clinician, a deputy operations manager, and usually a nurse or a professional head of department who will lead that specialty or that department within that specialty. And they are therefore responsible for the governance side of things, from managing the incidents, assessing the risks, looking at patient safety and your health and safety. And if you want more about who that is within your specialty, again, you can find that out on the Cancer Directorate Connect pages. We have 2 structure charts that will help you. So if I firstly just call up the structure chart itself, that looks a bit dull, but the principle's the same on each page. The pink columns are the nursing, the blue are the ops, the green are the clinical leads or clinicians. There are other staff groups that are split out within these. If we flip to a specialty, and you can see all our specialties or departments running across the bottom there, you should be able to find the one that you are based in, and at the top of it you will be able to see who your lead nurse is for that area, or your AHP or your matron. You'll be able to see who your deputy operations manager is, and you'll be able to see who the clinical lead is, and then the structures that sit below them within those specialties. And again, they're there for all of the different areas across the directorate. So that kind of shows you a bit of the picture in terms of structure charts. The other part of that is who undertakes what role and who has what responsibility. So this document, again, it's on our Connect page and links to it, shows you a bit more about who fulfills which role within your area. So for the division, that's our clinical director, our head of nursing, and our DDO, director of operations. And then that's the directorate lead team, and here we've got the specialty lead team. So the clinical lead, the nurse AHP lead, and the operational lead. And this also gives you some more information within each specialty. So if we just look at oncology for a second, it breaks down that information a little bit further. So who's the matron in charge of inpatients, who's in charge of day units, who's the Ward D9 lead. It's also got information about who the audit lead is, the M&M lead, and it's got some information about who the clinical leads are for the specialties within the specialty, so the subspecialties that may sit there. Too many specialties, but that will become clearer as time goes on. So it also then tells you a little bit more about who your departmental health and safety officers are, who does your hand hygiene care work, manual handling, who's your first aider, or where you go for first aider within your specialty. So there's a wealth of information within this, and as I say, it can be found by going to that policies and processes page within Connect on the Cancer Directorate pages. So we'll send this out. It's got all the links to those as well, so it will be useful and you can look back at it. We've also got some non-clinical services within the directorate that I touched on earlier. So we've got the Cancer Directorate Business Support Team, we've got a Quality Assurance Team. So while some of our documents are published to Merlin on our policies and processes, we also have our own document management system and our own quality assurance team who manage all those documents. They also manage our accreditations and audits, and we also have a governance manager who will support the specialties in managing risks and incidents, etc. We've also got a directorate data team and something called the Cancer Patient Partnership Group, which I'll come to later, the Cancer Support Service, and the Cancer Performance Team that look at waiting times and tracking and MDTs for patients across the trust. So the business support team, so the Cancer Directorate business support team is a PA function for the Cancer Directorate senior team. They oversee things like the VAs, the IT requests that we get in. They push those through the process. They look for approval and then bring it back to the specialty teams and the line managers who need that approval afterwards. And they support some of the non-clinical services such as CPPG, and also roll out some projects with us as the cancer senior team. Each specialty has its own PA. So there should be a PA in your specialty. The details on here as to who to contact. The PA is managed within the specialty and they will undertake things like departmental meeting minutes, governance minutes. They will maintain personnel files. They will do room bookings, invoicing. So they provide a PA function for the specialty in which they are based. We've also, as I touched on, got the quality assurance team, which is split into two parts. So we've got a quality management team made up of quality managers and support team. They oversee our accreditations such as JC, CHKS, ISO 9001, OECI. Lots of letters, possibly don't mean anything at the moment, but as you work in a specialty, you will become familiar with things like that. The contact details for that team are on Connect. So do reach out to them. You'll have a quality manager aligned to your specialty who will undertake those things that are listed there, and support in the documentation, publication, writing of your policies and processes. Our quality governance team, we have a quality manager, a governance manager who oversees our risks, our incidents, health and safety. They will support teams. Incidents and risks are for everybody. It's not just for managers. There are responsible managers who will investigate an incident and investigate a risk further and add a risk to the risk register. But anyone can raise a risk, anyone can raise an incident. So if you think something is a risk and you think it needs to be on our risk register, or you don't know if it's on the risk register for your specialty, go and talk to your deputy operations manager. Again, you can find who that is on our roles and responsibilities. For your area, the DOM should be able to access the risk register and look at that. If you think there's a risk that needs adding, raise it with them. Again, they'll be able to add it. It then comes to the Directorate for review and approval. Or if it needs closing, again, it can come through the same route through your DOM. So have a chat with them. In terms of incidents, anyone can raise an incident. And we will encourage you to do so. We want to learn if things haven't gone right, how can they be better? If things have gone wrong, what can we do to improve it? An incident within one specialty may be really relevant to another specialty. So we want to do that cross-learning, hence the newsletter. So please do raise incidents and risks. If you're unsure, talk to the DOM in your area, reach out to the Cancer Directorate governance manager. They've got a dedicated email address and that's on Connect. So please do highlight those things, and please, if you want to know more, please do reach out. Patient engagement and co-production. Obviously, I've talked a lot about cancer patients, and this is very much about our cancer patients. There is the patient engagement and patient experience group that sits within the trust who will work with our benign patients to engage with them and work with them. For our cancer patients, we have the Cancer Patient Partnership Group, which I will come on to a little bit more next. But co-production, from a cancer perspective, we want to work in co-production. We want patients involved in every step of every decision we make and what we do. It's a journey. It will take us some time to fulfill that completely, but it is a route that we are working towards. We have a very active patient group who meet regularly. They attend meetings on behalf of the patients and represent the patients at those meetings. So they make sure that patient voice is heard, and it doesn't matter even if that comes in later in the process. Ideally, we want that voice in from the start, but if it comes in later, so be it. It's important we bring that patient voice into the decisions we're making, and we work collaboratively with our patients. So the CPPG was established in 2012. It went through a bit of a reconfiguration in 2023, but basically they work with us to help develop things, work on projects with us. They come to Cancer Board. They have a very active group to do that. And we're always looking for reaching out to new members to join the group. So There's some details there about getting your patients. So if you see patients in clinic or you see patients and they want to get involved, they don't know how to give back, perhaps they're at that point of wanting to do something, but they don't want to go and fundraise. The CPPG is an excellent way of getting involved to make a change, make it better, make things improve, work with us to develop things. Gina is our co-production lead, and she can be contacted via the details on screen, and we'll send the PowerPoint out with those on. And also, if you've got any ideas of things that we want to change, anything that we want to do, anything that we can do better, if we've got projects or pieces of work, if we're going to move a service to a different area, get the patients involved in that. We want to do it in co-production with them. Reach out to Gina with any projects, any ideas, and she will be able to get patients involved and to support you through that. So there's all the details there, but it is a different way of working. And it is something we want to ingrain into our everyday life, that patients are part of every decision-making process we make about our services in cancer. The other support service we have for our cancer patients, sorry for those with benign patients, but again, for cancer patients, is the cancer support service. It's made up of a group of staff, from cancer navigators to cancer support advisors, and they see patients across the trust, but also over the phone as well, and in virtual platforms. The cancer support service itself, in terms of the pod, is based down in oncology, but they do have a mobile pod that they take out and go to the ATC or into the concourse or to outpatients to try and reach those cancer patients that are surgical patients or just seen in outpatients and never actually come down to oncology. They have a raft of information, and they can wayfind patients to so much support that's available to them, and they can also give them a blue pack. So if you're new to cancer and you're going to be seeing patients, we have a blue pack with lots of information in that can be given to newly diagnosed patients with cancer, whether it be a surgical patient or a oncology patient or radiotherapy, hematology. That blue pack should provide them with lots of useful information. So please do get in contact with the pod to get hold of those packs. But they also do lots of things, such as supporting patients to get blue badges, wig referral services. They do all kinds of things. So the pod is a really useful place for our patients, but also for carers of patients and the relatives of patients. And then we've got a cancer navigators that's in the team as well. So there is a navigator aligned to most sites, but any site can refer a patient in to be seen. The navigators do pick up patients from the patient tracking list, the PTL, and we'll reach out to the patients to undertake a EHNA, an electronic health needs assessment, to see what support the patient needs around blue badges, around finances, their everyday life, the stuff that doesn't factor into their condition, but it affects their everyday life, how they can claim allowances, etc. They will support them with that and wayfind patients to the right kind of support. So that's the cancer support service. There's lots of contact information. They've got a dedicated phone line where you can call either the info support team or the navigators. Pop down to the pod and have a chat with them, and they'll happily talk to you about what they do and what they offer and what the navigators can offer. They've got a raft of social media channels as well for our patients. So please do wayfind your patients to them. It really does make a difference to our patients to have that extra support there. Just back to you and you working in the Cancer Directorate, we've got various induction processes. Hopefully you've had your local induction with your specialty or departmental teams through your line manager. There's also the trust induction, which happens on the 1st and 3rd Mondays of the month. Hopefully you read the book or have had that. And you need to do that within a couple of months of starting with us. You will have a 3-month review. If it's not booked, ask your line manager about it. You should have a 3-month review. It's important that we reflect on how things have gone with you starting. Also learn if there's anything we can do better to induct you, but also it's about looking at the future and setting some objectives. And appraisal processes. We have a yearly appraisal cycle. It happens within a certain time frame each year, and there'll be more about that in the weekly updates that come out. But that's your chance to reflect on how things have gone, look at your well-being, how is work working for you, what can be better, what's not gone well, what has gone well, and also look at the objectives for the future and see where things are going and what can be done. So they're what should be on offer to you. If you haven't got your 3-month review booked, talk to your line manager. If it comes to appraisal season, make sure your appraisal is booked and you're getting that done. In terms of working, there's flexible working requests. The trust offers flexible working requests and flexible working. So there's connect pages around that and the links are in here. So please do, if you feel the need to submit a flexible working request, discuss it with your line manager and then submit your flexible working request for consideration. In terms of leave, as I said, there's a cancer directorate leave policy that fits into the trust policy. The leave policy in the directorate also splits down into things that are unique within your specialty areas and your team areas as to perhaps how many staff can be off at one time, whether there's a good time or, whether we limit whether people can take time at certain times of the year and how many people can be off. So have a look at the leave policy. It will apply to every member of the cancer directorate who is not in the medical team. It's every other staff that works in the directorate that covers, and it links up to the trust policy. Obviously, there's health roster for rostering for shifts, but also requesting your annual leave and booking your annual leave should be done through health roster or MAPS, as some people call it. Training and development. Obviously, we've got DOT, which you may not yet be familiar with, but all your mandatory training is on DOT, but there is a raft of learning on DOT, and we as a directorate support training development. So do talk to your line manager about any career aspirations, any training you want to do, any learning that you wish to do to further your role, your development. We very much support that. So please do talk to your line manager. We've got some practice development teams across the directorate, so do reach out to them as well. And then, of course, there's staff benefits, and there's staff benefits in terms of well-being. As a directorate, we do offer some well-being support and clinical supervision, but also there's staff benefits around lease hire and blue light cards. So have a look on the staff benefits page. You can find out a whole raft of information from there. In terms of the directorate, we do encourage a certain identity, which sounds very official, but we adhere to the trust dress code. Clothing worn by staff should be appropriate for the workplace. If you're not in a uniform, then we ask people to be smart, to adhere to certain footwear, no strappy tops, etc. So there are criteria, no jeans. So please do have a look at the trust uniform policy and make sure you are adhering to that and that your workwear is professional and smart. We have a email signature that you can download the pro forma from Connect. That's a trust pro forma to enable us to have a corporate identity, and it should follow a certain pattern and have certain things in it. So do have a look at that. Again, the link is on here. We'll send this to you so you can see it. Virtual backgrounds, we have slightly adapted the trust virtual background to add a bit more information on about who we are and where we sit. So if you want we would encourage you to use the virtual background that we've got. That is within page 6 of the home working policy. So have a look at the home working policy and you'll be able to download this. And we encourage staff to have their cameras on when they are undertaking virtual meetings. So cameras on policy rather than cameras off. So we would encourage you to do that. And then behaviours. Obviously, the trust has the safe, kind and excellent behaviours, and the behaviours we would expect to see and not expect to see. We very much advocate those across the Cancer Directorate and within our teams, and we would encourage you to abide by those behaviours and also encourage others to do so. And where you see poor behaviours, please challenge that. And also, if you feel like there are concerns and things you need to speak up about, you can go to your management teams, you can go to senior management teams, of course. If you don't feel able to do that, go to the Speaking Up champions. There's more to be found about those on Connect. We have got Speaking Up champions within the directorate who may not be in your specialty, so go and have a chat with them. If you feel you need to speak up, please do so. We would encourage that. I could read these out to you, but I won't. They're there. We'll send it out. So there's expectations you should expect from us. We should be inducting you properly. We should be behaving as we should in those expected behaviours. We should be aligning you to buddy or support you in your induction. So there's behaviours we should be delivering to you and behaviours we would expect from you, such as arriving on time and being fit for work for any planned shifts you have. So have a look through those behaviours that we should be giving you and you should be giving us. And then objectives, we work towards the trust objectives. Sometimes we have a local objective plan. We haven't this year. We're working on the trust objectives, and they can be found on Connect. The link again is there. And also we have objectives around equality, diversity and inclusion, EDI, which means that we work as one family. We don't discriminate, we don't victimize, we are all working together and all integrated, and we have objectives to support that working through. There's a lot more that can be found on Connect and groups that are there around the trust that you can join and be part of those networks. So please do look at Connect and find out more about those groups you can join if you feel the need. Cancer strategy, we have a cancer strategy. It has some key aims which are listed there around improving our patient experience and our patient outcomes and delivering a workforce that has access to the training and educational needs that they require. And it has cross-cutting themes within it. You can find that cancer strategy on our Cancer Directorate business plan on Connect. And we do review that and rewrite it and develop it every couple of years. So please have a look at that and see where we're aiming to as a cancer service. One of the major developments coming in, you may be aware of, is the Cambridge Cancer Research Hospital, the CCRH. Plans continue to go at pace for that building to be based on the CUH campus, to be a dedicated resource for cancer patients, to treat cancer patients, but also to do research in the same building. So it's bringing the two elements together, research and treatment and diagnosis, all into one place. And there'll be lots more about that within our weekly updates, our bulletins, our newsletters that come out to you. There's a Cambridge Cancer Research Hospital website that you can click on the link there and go and find out more about that. And certain services in time will move into the cancer hospital and out of the areas that they're in at the moment. But to find out more, go and have a look at that. But there will be lots of more coming on that, and that really is the future of cancer services at CUH at the moment, and a major aim in our objectives to develop that cancer hospital. And one last thing, Innovation Change Station. We want to improve things for our patients, for our staff. How do you make those suggestions? We've got an Innovation Change Station. You can click the link that's shown on the screen, and you can then go in and complete a survey. It comes to a group of people. So it comes to one of the ops team, a nurse lead, clinician. It also involves ACT, which is the Adam Brooks Charitable Trust. So there's some funding there. So if a suggestion comes in and ACT think they can fund it, we can then apply for that funding. It also has a patient representative in that group. So from the CPPG, a patient will look at what's been suggested and take the patient's view on that as well, and see how that can be supported. And there's a little bit of project support there too, to help make that idea come to fruition. So please do make suggestions. There's a lot of support there to help with that, and we want to encourage that and develop and change and learn. So if you've got ideas, then follow that. That is a very quick whistle-stop introduction to the Cancer Directorate, the specialties that sit in it, and some of the services that are within the Directorate as well, and some of the services that span the Directorate and the specialties within it, such as quality and governance. So please do look at the Connect pages. There's a wealth of information on there. Do reach out to the Cancer Directorate senior team. or your line managers to find out more, and they'll be able to answer your questions. So finally, thank you for listening. I hope that's not been too long. Hopefully it's got some useful information in it. Welcome. Good luck with your journey in working with us in the Cancer Directorate, and we look forward to working with you. Thank you.